As we continue the design of our jig, next I want to look at the fit between the collet receiver and this plate. So first, let's go to the receiver. I'll just double click on it to bring up the dimensions. And as you recall, we made this OD here 4 inches with an H5 tolerance, which is a very tight fit. And it's going to have a light press fit into the plate. This will maintain a vertical positioning error of essentially 0. And then we made the thickness of this part here to have a 2 thou tolerance, which will use up 4 thou of our total tolerance for that axis positioning. So next, let's go to the receiver plate. So when we look at our plate, this diameter here has to be the appropriate press fit. This diameter here needs to be clearance, so its maximum material condition, the smallest this diameter can be, must be slightly larger than the diameter's maximum material condition of the receiver. But its depth must be tightly controlled as well. Here we have a total of 2 thou tolerance. So I'm going to start with it. I'm just going to double click on its dimension. We see it's 1/2 inch. I'll say OK. And then I'll come over here as well. And I'm going to add a limit dimension. I'm going to set the precision to 4 decimal places. And I'm going to make its plus dimension 2 thou. So the limit size will be 0.500 to 0.502. I'm going to accept that. The next step, I'll just double click on this again. I want to deal with this diameter. So I'm going to Control Tab back to the receiver that goes in here. And I'm going to see what diameter this currently is and how it's dimensioned. So once again, I'm going to go back and I'm going to alter how this was dimensioned initially. So I'm going to expand this and I'm going to tell it I want to edit the sketch. And I'll look normal too. And I'm going to delete this 1/2 inch dimension. And I'll activate Smart Dimension. And this time I want this dimension. So I have 5 inches, which is correct. And now I'm going to choose a tolerance for it. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to give it a symmetric tolerance. This diameter isn't critical in that it doesn't affect the part's position. So I'll give it a plus or minus tolerance of 10 thou, which is quite generous for cylindrical grinding and turning. So its maximum size can be 5 inch 10 thou. And I'm going to return from that and say OK. I'm going to Control Tab back to the plate, and now I want to dimension this. So this time, again, it's 5 inches. I'm going to say OK. And I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to tell it it has a bilateral tolerance. And its smallest diameter needs to be the ring's largest. So I don't want it smaller than 5 inch 10 thou. So down here in the minus, I'm going to put plus 10 thou. And in the plus, I'll put 20 thou. So it has a 10 thou tolerance, but it's a plus plus tolerance. So now we see we have 5 inches plus 20 thou and 5 inches plus 10 thou. So I'll say OK. And now the depth and diameter of this have been dealt with. The last thing we need to deal with is this diameter. For this 4-inch bore, I want to use a locational interference fit. These are used when accuracy of location is of prime importance and for parts requiring rigidity and alignment with no special requirements for bore pressure, which is exactly what we have for this case. To find an appropriate fit, again, I'm going to go to the fit charts and I'm going to find the LN fit chart. And here we can see the chart, and I'm going to start in the LN1 column. And for a 4-inch diameter, an H6 hole and an N5 shaft will give a maximum interference of 1 thou 6/10 and a minimum interference of 1/10,000th of an inch. That's the fit we want. So we're going to have to go back and change the whole fit to an H6, and we'll add the N5 fit here now to this part. So I'll select OK. I'll come over here and tell it I want to fit with tolerance. And I'm going to choose for the shaft the N5. So I scroll down until I find the N5. I'll select it. I need this to be 4 decimal place accuracy. I see the values here. I'm going to add them to brackets, and I'm going to say OK. The next thing I'm going to do is Control Tab back to my receiver. I'll rotate around a bit. And I want to change this diameter's fit here. So I'm going to find that, double click on it, and that's going to become an H6. And as I said earlier, we may decide to change it later upon examination. So now I have the H6 tolerance. I'm going to add a brackets. I'm going to say OK. I'll rebuild and save my work. And I'll go back to the plate. And in the next video, we'll continue the examination of this plate.